Zach Wilson was on some television show and they gave him a question like, where would you like to play? What offense would you fit? And he says, gee, I don't know. The 49ers and the Panthers, but any team would be great. But the 49ers and the Panthers are really, really great. I like Kyle Shanahan. I like Joe Brady. Seems like a smart kid who knows exactly what he's doing. Seems like he might be a little nervous about being picked by the Jets. I would be too. I mean, dang. Look at Sam Darnold. So my question is basically saying, hey, Niners, please, come and get me. Should the Niners trade up from 12 to 3 and make it happen? Jack, you start.
12 to 3 is going to be a tough one because that's just a lot to give up for Zach Wilson. And
it's almost a Watson trade package to move up that far.
It's going to be pretty similar to it. I think if I'm the 49ers, I'm looking to see who I can get around 7 and do it. And something like what the Bills did when they did the Josh Allen deal, where it was just a swap of first and then a second round in both years. That's not very much, and that would be something that's doable. And that's really the big, what I would do. If you look at what the Bills have done over the course of the last 4 years, they've killed it at the top of the draft. And that's really where the Niners have struggled and why the Niners are in the position where they are right now. So that's the direction I have.
So instead of trading into the top 5, which is extremely expensive, trade into the top 7, more doable.
Yeah, they should be able to get somebody there.
I like that. Matt.
I just think it will be hard to even trade into the top 7 because there's so many teams in that range that would want that quarterback. The Lions, who knows what they want, Carolina in that situation, Atlanta in the top 4, Miami even. And then there's teams that can trade up also in front of the Niners. Yeah, Minnesota, New England, Washington, Chicago, Indianapolis, all those teams need to find a rookie quarterback, I think, at some point. So I just think it'll be really hard. I think Zach Wilson and Justin Fields go top 5. So I think they'd have to get there, and I don't think that happens.
Yeah. I have a neutral stance on this one. If Kyle Shanahan feels like there's a quarterback he loves that's going to be his quarterback for the next 10 years, I'd personally support the decision to move up with whatever you need to move up to secure a quarterback that you feel like is going to be the face of your franchise, for the next decade.
You hungry?
The reason why I'd prefer Watson is because it completely eliminates the risk. If you move up for a quarterback in the draft, there's always the possibility that player is going to be a bust, and that's concerning. So that's what you have to really consider when thinking about moving up in the draft, which is why I'm so gung-ho about Watson, because he's the safest bet, and he's the most attractive quarterback who could potentially become available. So moving up, you'd have to move up to the top 5 for Zach Wilson. Right. That's going to cost you a lot. I'm for it if Kyle Shanahan feels that that's his guy. But you have to know that there's a decent chance he can become a bust, and then you lose all that draft capital you gave up to move up.
I mean, you're hoping and praying that he becomes Deshaun Watson. That's the best case scenario. And there's a whole lot of scenarios where he doesn't come anything close to that. Jose.
Mm-hmm. Once again, it's another point where they're going to have to be very careful. I feel like the way that they have a chance that they should even consider even go in on trading him is if somehow, some way, which is possible, one team in the top 5, top 8, top 10, whatever, does a random draft pick, because there's always that one team that in the top 5 or top 10 drafts someone, and it's like, whoa, this changes the whole outlook of who's going to fall, what's going to go where. It didn't really happen so much last year. That wasn't even for the first time in years. I think there wasn't a trade in the top 10 in the draft, which was kind of boring. I usually like the trades, but I don't think you got to trade. I don't think you're gonna go all in, because perfectly said by one of you guys, it's just another Deshaun Watson scenario. And at that point, it's like, all right, it kind of feels like you should just do Deshaun Watson, because at least that's known. And at this point, I like comparing to the unknown draft pick to that episode from Family Guy, where it's like a boat's a boat, but the mystery box is a mystery. It's like, so it's like, all right, great. Like the mystery, would you rather take the variable or take the constant? I mean, come on. It's all this unknowingly stuff is not fun to trade the future for a team that's going to end up having to fill in a bunch of needs that already this year they have a bunch of needs they got to fill with the 40+ free agents. So trade it for him. It just depends if someone tips that domino in the right direction towards the favorable, but I'd say no.
I would say hell no. Hell no. I'm not that into Zach Wilson. I like him. I liked him when I watched him because his highlights are really cool. I mean, he has a lot of cool highlight plays, but when you watch him play, he holds the ball a really long time. His game is to hold the ball and hold the ball and hold the ball and scramble around and scramble around and scramble around. He's a scrambler. People talk about his arm. His defining characteristic are his feet. He's very quick. He scrambles for big plays. He extends plays. He's going to get hurt playing like that in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be a high-level passer. I think he's going to be a guy who runs around a lot, takes hits, and is going to be in and out I mean, I hate to be. It's harsh to say that about a player, but we're looking at that with. I mean, you got to be honest. Do you feel like Jimmy Garoppolo? You have to be honest about his lack of durability. This guy, we haven't seen it, but I feel like his style of play, he can do it at BYU, but can he do it in the NFL? I don't think so. I don't.
This line.
He plays like Kyler Murray without Kyler Murray's athleticism, in my opinion. So no, absolutely not. No. Let's move on. Maybe that's harsh, but that's the way I see it. We
behind the offensive line too. Also got to factor into that.
I would sign Dak because we can backlog his contract since the cap is going up after 2021, and we can restructure Armstead's contract and save some cap. It seems to me that Dak is one of the most expensive quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Even with the broken leg, I don't think he's taking a discount for anyone.
Hell no.
And
after
he's
the way
really
the Cowboys.
Let's move on.